The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once more into the breach, dear friends, do we go. And of course, every weekday that there's trading out there, except when I'm on vacation, we meet at this time.
Great place. Yeah.
Every day. Of course, market throwing a few curveballs out there. Popped pretty much at the open to 1962 on the S&P cash. We're printing off at 1952, so a light volume pullback into the weekend, 2.77 billion shares. So that would be interesting. I don't know what else is going on out here, but kind of a quiet into a Friday. The action yesterday should have probably been over at 1930 or so, 1935 on the S&P cash. Of course, it drove up to this level that we are at now before the end of the day. Now, a lot of people are thinking that maybe it's time to get bearish on this market. I suspect that we at least have a little while, and suspect maybe even a longer time of being in a trading range here for a couple of reasons why. First is the dollar index. It certainly looks like the Treasury is moving mountains of cash in and out of the dollar. We are trading out at 98.13 on the continuous contract. It's up about 84 cents today, but a huge move, huge. And that kind of put the whammy on gold. I saw it closed down at least for the regular contract at 18, down 18 or 19 points. A lot of the actual equity gold miners were getting hit rather hard. I think we go back to it, and that is a comment from Elarian that used to be with PIMCO, is now, who's he with now? Trying to remember. Did he start his own thing? He's got something going on. Anyway, Elarian, who's always on CNBC and Bloomberg and the rest of the stuff, had a decent quote about the Fed not liking prices going to balloon-like levels, but it also doesn't like downside levels either. What it was hoping to do was make this market go flat. And the more effort that we continue to see of the basically the FOMC getting busy anytime the market goes down, and the Fed leaning off the accelerator of cash being flushed into the Forex market when the markets go up, I think they're really just trying to stamp any of the volatility out of these markets. They're probably better off with a market not moving than having one that's wildly moving up and down. Of course, we all love volatility if we're day trading, and we like trends if we're trading longer. But I suspect that we could have some significant amount of time with a narrowing trading range. Of course, we go into fund buying when we come back starting next week. Really going to be big Tuesday and Wednesday. I see a lot of stocks that came up, hit resistance on light volume. It's I don't get a lot of sign or signal, at least so far today, that we're doing anything other than a light volume retrace back to the 1935 level, where we'll probably see the Fed come out with a stick and poke everybody once again, give them a little more bullish, and the Fed and the Treasury to come out and throw cold water on everybody with a higher dollar if they get going too much farther. This might be part of the whole issue with the was it the G20, the G7? I can't ever remember which G meeting these are, but I think it's the G20. But it ends up being, well, that was exciting. However long ago that came in, but it is interesting. Anyway, time to get this party started. On this day in 1993, most people always think about 9/11, but they don't think about this day in 1993. It's kind of forgotten in the shadow of 9/11, and that is on this day at 12:18, the terrorist bomb explodes in the parking garage of the World Trade Center, leaving a crater about 60 feet wide and collapsing several steel-reinforced concrete floors in the vicinity of the blast. Although the bomb failed to really critically damage the main structure because they built their bomb wrong. 6 people were killed, more than 1,000 injured, mostly from smoke inhalation. The World Trade Center itself suffered more than $500 million in damage. After the attack, authorities evacuated 50,000 people from the building. Hundreds who were, like I said, suffering from smoke inhalation. The evacuation lasted the whole afternoon, and of course, may have led to a lot of lives being saved in 9/11 because, of course, they, like most things, a huge pop out there in how can I say it, in the response time for everybody, and of course for getting everybody out of the building. So why some people were lost that day probably ended up saving a great deal more people in the future by having much better evacuation plans. But as we say, there is very little going on out here that has not happened before. Now, normally we do the Tech Insider at 4 o'clock, and somehow we've gotten out of the habit of doing that. I've gotten a lot of emails about people asking about it. So what we're going to do is kind of start that right away after the next break. We got to figure a few things out here to go figure out what's going on with my systems. But we'll be back. In the meantime, we'll look at a couple of real quick movers out here today in the markets. And of course, Baidu is up 10%, Goldcorp off 11%. What is that? HLF. Trying to remember the name of that. Herbalife up 25%. That they're going to make a deal with the Federal Trade Commission. J.C. Penney had some better than expected earnings, up 13%. Monster Beverage off 2% on some earnings. OLED, Universal Panel Display, off 13%. Palo Alto Networks up 3%. Splunk up 8%. Stamps.com up 21%. Weight Watchers off almost 30, 27.5. We'll be back in a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
False prophet Jim Cramer.
Okay, they can hear it. I just wanted to make sure. We were talking about getting some technical issues going on. Anyway, as I said before, kind of interesting that we hadn't been talking a lot about technology over the last few weeks. I got in a bad habit, and we're going to try to get out of it. But I'll be doing technology at least till we get back to doing a 4 o'clock hour on Fridays. Although many people like getting out of here at 4 o'clock on Friday, including me. Anyway, some interesting articles out here. We'll go through them as quick as we can. We'll follow up with the Apple discussion kind of at the end if we can get to it. I've talked a little bit about it, but a lot more stuff has come out during the week, so we'll talk about that. One of the most interesting things that I've seen probably in the last few weeks is a new chip coming out from MIT. This chip is optimized for deep learning. And probably nothing as poorly named as machine learning and deep learning in computerdom. But this thing is, they've given it the name Iris, but it is a small chip. It would be able to run in things like smartphones and, of course, really vastly reduce the amount of money that you would have to spend for self-driving cars. But a lot of neat stuff coming out from MIT. But one of the problems that they have is these deep learning problems. And until now, it's been chips that would probably cost in the hundreds or thousands of dollars to get things like self-driving cars, identifying people walking in front of it, other moving objects. Right now, the self-driving cars, the equipment, the lasers, everything else is about $30,000 per car. They're going to have to vastly bring that down, and that's cost. If they actually put it in, you got to figure that would add something like $60,000 to the price of a car. So if you would really think about it, kind of interesting to think about maybe just how expensive it would be. But there's at least a few things starting to come out that might make a self-driving car actually affordable in the near future. This is one of them. They are also working on unhackable chips, the RFID chips that have been in so many things that are so easily hacked. One of the other things is this, what they call an unhackable chip. They're using, I won't get into the weeds out here, but there are a few of these things coming out. It is a cryptographic device, and which brings up the whole FBI Apple thing. But current RFID chips, incredibly easy to hack. That's probably one of the reasons why you haven't seen a big push for a lot of the non-chipped phones. In fact, you can see Samsung's answer to that here fairly quickly. They do it with magnetism. But if you're doing it with RF energy, it's always fairly easy to sniff that radio frequency stuff out of the ether. This makes it a lot harder, but not impossible for RFID chips. So I don't know if it's actually going to move the marker, but at least it makes it, I would say, at least 10 times harder to hack these chips. So maybe there are a few more things coming down the line that would make it harder for evil doers to use these for horrible things. If you've been watching the news, I guess it was out a little bit last week. There was a company, he was kind of the darling of Silicon Valley and startups, a company called Zenefits. This was a HR software startup. But kind of out of nowhere, the CEO announced it would be, he was leaving. They put in a new CEO. A couple days later, we found out that Zenefits, basically working with a lot of insurance companies, just kind of thought maybe that the laws surrounding insurance companies were more of a suggestion than anything that they should really put up with. Apparently, the previous CEO had been figuring out ways to avoid all those pesky laws. He's gone. This company is now laying off huge amounts of people. A startup that was valued at somewhere between $10 and $15 billion over the last year, now down to about $1 billion. There may still be something there, but when we talk about the dot-com blow-up of 2000, that was all retail people buying worthless companies. It is a lot more self-inflicted wounds in Silicon Valley with companies like Zenefits and others that have blown up lately for a variety of reasons, sometimes news like Uber, and sometimes just self-inflicted wounds like Zenefits. Amazon has a huge amount of news out this week. They have added 7 private label fashion brands to its rank, continuing to put on pressure, at least price pressure, to retail establishments. It's unclear exactly how much they actually sell of clothing. It's still one of those bricks and mortar things where if you're going to spend any money, you're probably going to want to try it on. But I guess if you know your size exactly and know how that particular label sizes their clothes after you've bought one item of clothing, hopefully it's the same across most of them. Maybe you could buy for a whole lot less and avoid the bricks and mortar places. And of course, the people that work behind the counters, although I'm sure some of them are fine, most of them are college kids who do not care, at least in my experience. The company's also letting season 3 of Fashion Fund, a show that they're doing and doing the content for, letting other people watch it for free. This looks like a big test across the bow to find out whether or not Amazon would become much more, and Amazon Prime, much more like television, giving people an opportunity to watch some of their content if they're willing to put up with the ads. So I don't know. A lot of these folks, they think they want to go streaming and have people pay. As soon as they do that, they keep on thinking, well, there's a business for traditional television with ads. So Amazon's trying to keep 1 foot in and 1 foot out and do the hokey pokey with ad dollars. Unclear how well this is going. I think they started it on Monday. They've also paid $15 million for Woody Allen's new movie, Sight Unseen. So no one really knows how that's going to go. But that is going to be by and for Amazon. I think it'll be in the theaters for 1 or 2 weeks, and then they're going to go ahead and move it directly onto Amazon as a premium service for that. Some Woody Allen movies pretty good. I haven't seen the last couple of them. Mine always is going to be Sleeper. They're also doing and getting into live streaming literally tonight. Macklemore and Ryan are going to do a live streaming concert off of Amazon and Amazon Prime. I think it's unclear whether you have to have Prime or not yet and what time this is at. I just saw it float across the ticker earlier today. A couple more things happening with Amazon, then we'll get to the rest of Techville.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back to finish up with Amazon. On Wednesday, they changed their shipping minimum to $49 for free shipping for non-Prime members. Most people think why they didn't say it. This is an effort to push people into their Prime service. And I guess just getting people to cough up $99 is a big deal to them. Hard to understand why they just don't do free shipping to everybody. But I guess that's to get the flakes out that just order one thing. Probably why. But interesting stuff. Amazon still making a huge amount of moves this week. And, of course, bounced off of about, what was that, $445, which was the top of a confluence. So looking fairly good out there, technically at least. FAA is getting in on the drones, and why they haven't done a great deal about what's going on. Hang on. It says a big echo there, Dave. Huh? Well, I don't know what's going on. Your audio continues to, I'm talking to my engineer here, that your audio continues to go up massively. See what else. The FAA and drones proposed shareholders from both private and public sectors to produce a report by April 1st with recommendations about how to safely allow drone flights over people. Of course, they've changed Washington, D.C. I think you can't fly in a drone within like 20 miles of it, and then they changed it to 25 miles. Every week it seems like they move a little bit farther out around Washington, D.C. Now they're going to try to let people come back in. This is a good example of how slowly government moves and how fast technology does move and overwhelm them. But they've got the licensing already. You have to, I think it's over half a pound. Your drone has to be licensed now with the FAA. But they may move a lot farther into licensing than a lot of people have thought. So we'll continue to keep and look at that. Facebook's YouTube. Facebook is starting to bring its live video streaming to Android phones within the next week, and it's really going to be pushing its YouTube competitor. For the most part, Facebook has been pretty much depending on YouTube for its video catalog. It hasn't done a lot to develop video of its own. This Facebook Live feature will allow users to broadcast live video through the company's flagship mobile app, kind of like Periscope. Initially launched on the iOS in the U.S. As of today, it's available in more than 30 countries, and Facebook says it plans to bring new markets within the coming weeks. But a little bit more of this is more of a YouTube-like product, so we can probably see more and more wars going on between Google and Facebook in the coming weeks and months as more of this streams out. Facebook looked fairly decent today. Vizio and Google. Google is doing fairly well in getting into Vizio's business. Big screen televisions are basically coming down to three different companies. You have Sony, which is making ultra expensive screens. You have Samsung and Vizio. They are building, at least Google's got their foot in the door with Vizio now, and they're building in Chromecast devices to allow people to directly stream, he said, directly to its new TVs. We've talked about how I like Chromecast a great deal, and I have about 3 of them. But it is becoming fairly ubiquitous. It is incredibly cheap, with about $25 for some of them. But I think Google has had the highest selling retail product for a couple years with Chromecast. It's just so inexpensive that most people don't think about it as much as an appliance. But if its sales were anywhere close to what it did worldwide for smartphones, everybody would say that they were the leader in electronics in the world. But what else? UN and batteries. I saw this, and it was very interesting. They weren't able to pass this last year, but this year the UN Panel on Aviation, which actually controls a great deal of intercontinental flights, is recommending a total ban on rechargeable lithium-ion batteries as cargo on passenger aircraft. This would mean that you'd have to take your battery out of your smartphone, out of your tablet, everything else. and they just say it is not safe. It's rejected a ban on battery, of course, last October, but reversed course earlier this year after pilots and airplane manufacturers said that they were a fire risk. And see how much farther this goes. But this could be a much different world if you had to take your batteries out of your cell phone, out of your tablet, and it's unclear whether they're going to be able to push this through or if it's only going to be pushed to baggage that you couldn't or maybe somebody couldn't readily get to. I guess throw down a toilet. I'm not exactly sure what you're supposed to do if something catches on fire like one of these things. I'm sure they've got smoke detectors and all that kind of stuff. But I wonder what you're supposed to do with a tablet or a cell phone that catches fire. Of course, it was rather famously this week, there was a cell phone that blew up in somebody's pants, and it was caught on CCTV and somebody in a store. But I guess you're supposed to throw it in the toilet. Maybe that's it. And then they dump everything overboard. But unclear. But this could, in at least international flights, could be a big deal brewing. As we said, Vizio and Sony and those guys are kind of the big deal in televisions. Foxconn has been trying to buy Sharp and get into the business of actually selling TVs. Foxconn, if you're unfamiliar, is the big manufacturing arm. They do the manufacturing for all the big companies, including Apple. At some times, they can, if you need 100 million people to put something together in the next 2 weeks, Foxconn is your guy. They have all those assembly plants over there. Anyway, they've been trying to buy Sharp. There's some issues going back and forth about how many contingent liabilities Sharp has, that is, i.e. unpaid bills that may come back at Foxconn if they buy them. But everybody's still kind of batting back and forth on this issue. But Foxconn may be getting out of being a straight builder and really getting into being a manufacturer, although they already manufacture some products under some third-party names. They really don't sell anything under the Foxconn name. But interesting. Zynga is looking at selling its headquarters. They originally bought them after the IPO at $288 million. It's probably worth about $350 million, but probably tells you that Zynga doesn't have long for this world. Going to try to at least get some cash, and I don't know, maybe sell themselves, do something else, but use that money in the meantime to keep going. Unfortunately, most of these things end up with everybody losing, and only in the end, bankruptcy and the lawyers litigating things until there's no money left for them. But we knew you well, Zynga, for a very short amount of time. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Also have and showed this weekend a new portable SSD that is probably about, I'm going to call it about 2/3 the size of a standard smartphone. It has a USB Type-C interface also, and capacities up to about 2 terabytes. So this stuff is becoming rather ubiquitous. I know a lot of people continue to ask me about Micron. I kind of think that it is a second half of the year story. And every time I see Samsung blowing out more memory like this, it continues to make me think that at least the business of a traditional memory that's been around for a while will continue to be soft, with Samsung flooding the market with this kind of business. Other things going on, of course, we'll talk though probably the last 17 minutes here of the hour about about Apple, excuse me. You can also give me a call at 877-927-6648 if you're interested. And we can talk about any kind of wide, non-chart-based question, or maybe even a chart-based question. Of course, since Apple's discussion about how they didn't want to accommodate the FBI, we found out a great deal more. My instant reaction was the FBI was lying, and of course, now that we know, just within a day or two, we found out that the FBI truly was lying, that there were 13 other cases that it wanted Apple to do the exact same thing for. Of course, yesterday we had, or was it Tuesday? Yeah, I think it was Wednesday. Apple actually filed I guess it's called to vacate an order by a lower judge, filed the appeal. And very interesting in that they're making one argument in public and, of course, making a separate argument in the courts. Their argument in the courts are all a free speech issue, i.e., I can't make you. No, in fact, there's a kind of a famous case that goes back to it, where the government was forcing some, or trying to force some people, back in like the 50s or the 60s, to be pro-agriculture, and trying to make people actually say things and do things to promote U.S. agriculture, even though they didn't want to do it. It went all the way to the Supreme Court, and it became a rather famous case. Apple's lawsuits to thwart the FBI's belief that they should do whatever the FBI asks has kind of come down, at least to this case. Now, I've seen 3 different attorneys that are First Amendment experts either write about it or be interviewed on TV over this week. And they say it is an excellent defense for what the FBI is doing. That is, that if you make somebody write something or do something, then that is an impingement to their freedoms. Now, I guess we can stand back from the legal argument a little bit and see exactly what's going on. That is that Apple's desire here is to not have to kowtow to the FBI and then kowtow to the Chinese Chicoms and everybody around the world, the Russians, and say, okay, we're working. In fact, we know now that they're working on a phone that they think will be uncrackable. I think they're in la la land. I think that, you know, Russia and China will easily be able to crack it. Now, there's a big difference between what the FBI actually wants and what they're saying they want. What the FBI wants is a phone that's as easily crackable as the phones were 5 years ago. They want basically to be able to go look at a phone, put it right back on the shelf, and have the owner not even notice that anybody was there. Whether they did it wirelessly, whether they did it through the cell phone provider, they don't want any impingement to being able to look at anybody's phone at any time, and without a warrant, of course. But you know, you get more people involved in things, it becomes much tougher to bypass all this, and that's exactly what they want. The arguments that I've heard, at least the FBI say, is, okay, if you built a house, and that house, you know, had documents in there that showed how the occupant was using it and maybe his formulas for making illegal drugs, you could get a warrant, you could go right in, there would be, no one would say a word about it. The problem gets to be that Apple is making a house that no one can get into except the owner, and the FBI says, no, you've got to build a tunnel for us to get in right through the center of the floor anytime we feel like it, and you've got to give us a key to get into everybody's phone, no matter what the FBI says. In fact, after he lied, he did go before Congress this week, the FBI director, who's been thought of as a fairly straight shooter, and finally, after being berated for 30 minutes, actually said, well, yeah, this would be a principle in all the ongoing cases that we have. We saw those cases filed, all 13 or 14 cases filed by Apple, asking them to vacate all the orders on those 14 cases. The other 13 that Apple, or that I guess the FBI never thought Apple would bring up in public. They just thought that they would make them kowtow on this first case, and that would be it. Now it's pretty much been driven into a much bigger court case. The polls basically had about 70% of the people saying, hey, yeah, just give it up. I don't understand why you're making a big deal about this, Apple. And about 30% of the people thought that it was a privacy issue. Well, after just a few days, I saw a poll that was just the polar opposite of that, that 70% of the people say, hey, Apple, thanks for trying to protect our privacy, at least somewhat. And 30% of the people saying, yeah, just give it to them, whatever they ask. Terrorism's such a horrible thing that we're willing to give up all our freedoms, implied or implicit, just so that we don't have to worry about the threat of any terrorism whatsoever. So we're getting into this whole kind of thing where it's getting a little esoteric as to the technology, but it's not just us. To me, it is a much bigger issue that is in countries where the governments are not so friendly. And my thought on it is definitely it will hurt American businesses, and it will hurt people abroad not to have secure phones. We'll be back in a minute.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And this is a good example because this is what the FBI has been pushing. A terrorist bombs a building and is killed in the blast. The FBI gets a warrant to get his landlord to open up his apartment and get the data in the room. Isn't this just a phone, just another room filled with data inside that room? And it is great up to one point, and that is that since the data is encrypted, this is the only argument we have. What the FBI is saying is that you cannot offer encryption to a customer unless you have a copy of the key and can give us the key instantaneously. So this is not asking the landlord just to open up the building. This is demanding that the landlord go in and decrypt any data that he has laying around, therefore making the landlord the active participant in this, whether he wanted to be or not. In the case of this, it is saying that Apple must do something. Apple, go dig a ditch. Apple, go do this. Do whatever we want, because, of course, we want you to do it, therefore you have to. Apple being forced to be active and recover stuff that they have no copy of is not something that you can get in a subpoena. And that is where it changes. There were a lot, and actually this goes back to the busing, where the whole issue of busing and like Boston, sending school kids to different schools and everything. At least the judges have looked at that as something that they didn't want to get back into. Again, i.e. legislating from the bench. They wanted to make sure that they just said, okay, we're going to continue to fine you, City of Boston, until you solve this issue, instead of this is how you're going to solve the issue. And that's where, at least legally, everybody's going to get involved in this. But this would be the equivalent of making the landlord go in there, find some papers that were encrypted, and making him decrypt them, and not giving him the phone. If you don't have the keys to it, let's say you don't have the keys to a safe inside that room, that would make the landlord responsible for the keys or the combination of that safe inside the room. If the FBI can hack into it or break it, that's fine. Making the landlord the active participant in it is where that analogy falls down. So, yeah, they want a master key, and no amount of them jawboning makes it any different. We know that they've lied to us before on a variety of issues. They think it's okay to do so when I'm talking about the FBI. But now we've got Microsoft. We've got all the FANG companies, Facebook, Amazon, Microsoft, all the other guys pretty much now have gotten in line with Apple and saying, yeah, we stand behind you. This is the way it's going to be if we're going to do business in a world run by people that maybe aren't as nice as our company here. How are we going to tell China no? How are we going to tell Russia no? And Apple is working very hard at making secure phones that they would have no ability ever to get the key from. As I said before, all this does is make it harder for the NSA and the FBI to hack it, not impossible. They can figure out a way to do it. We talked about it early in the week. Anyway, we will see you Monday. Always remember to sell when you can, not when you have to. And we'll see you here Monday. Same bat channel, same bat time.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters.
You're watching Tiger TV.